Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the May 1st full board meeting of St. Lawrence County order. And we have a roll call.
Reagan,
Here.
Forsythe,
Here.
Lightfoot,
Here.
Sheridan,
Here. Here.
Denisha, Paul,
Here.
Fay,
Here.
Packard, here, Webster,
Here.
Burke, Jeanette,
Here.
Carminelli, here, Curran, here, 15 present.
Thank you. Mr. Denisha, lead us in our program.
Dear Heavenly Father, this evening we ask that you help us use this newly revised springtime season to revive newness in our hearts, our homes, and our lives. Father, we ask that you help us be more thoughtful, considerate, and generous. As we live our day-to-day lives, remind us of the beauty of spring and what new beginnings mean. We ask that you present us with situations where we can support one another and grant us the insight to show compassion. Grant us the wisdom to make the best decisions during our deliberations and the courage to stand behind them. Our evening's work is complete. Please guide us on our way home and grant us all a safe return. For all these things, we ask your blessing through Jesus Christ, your Son, in whose name all things are possible.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Point, I'd entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda. Moved by Ms. Curran, seconded by Ms. Perkins. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Need a motion for the approval of the minutes of April 3rd and April 17th special board meeting. Moved by Ms. Curran, seconded by Mr. Lightfoot and Mr. Jeanette. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. We're going to move into presentation of resolution. I must say this is my favorite one to do, and it's been a while. 22 years since we got to do this, so congratulations to you girls. Mr. Sheridan, would you like to make a motion?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd be delighted to make this motion. I'd like to make the motion recognizing the Hammond Central Schools basketball team for the Excellence and Outstanding Achievements Award.
And would there be a second amongst us? I think it's unanimous. Congratulations. Just under discussion, before we start discussion, we do have to make one little change to it. In the first whereas, it should say you beat Oxford and not Panama. And we will make that correction. I'd like to read the resolution. What I'll do is I'll read this resolution, then Mr. Sheridan and Ms. Doyle will come up and make presentations of your certificate. And then we'll have a little recess after. Whereas the Hammond Central School girls basketball team captured the New York State Public High School Athletic Association championship title by defeating Oxford in a hard-fought 61-37 victory. And whereas showing no weakness on the court, and the Red Devils had a stellar season, playing each game with athleticism, intensity, and mindset of a championship caliber team, finishing their season with a record of 21-1. And whereas, under the direction of head coach Elisa Crosby, and assistant coaches John Arquette, Katina Dillon, and Chet Truskowski, these scholar athletes were able to accomplish this incredible feat. And whereas, the performance of this team is a testimonial to the dedication, devotion, and commitment to a team sport with a desire to succeed. And whereas St. Lawrence County is extremely proud of the achievement of this team and the student athletes for devoting the time and the energy and putting forth an unselfish team effort thereby bringing honor and credit to their school, town, and county. And whereas it is with great pride that the Board of Legislators recognizes the exceptional accomplishments of the Hammond Red Devil Girls basketball team and their coaches on the impressive and successful championship season. Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Legislators recognizes the Hammond Central School girls basketball team for excellence and outstanding achievement in capturing the 2023 New York State Public High School Athletic Association Girls Basketball Championship. Congratulations. Now I believe I need a second to, oh, we did that already.
Yeah.
Now, we need a vote. All in favor of the resolution? Any opposed? If you're from Lisbon, you might. Okay.
So girls, these are in alphabetical order, not number order. So first up is Zoe Cunningham. Hang on 1 second. Next up is Rayleigh Downs. Next up is Ava Howie. Next up is Michaela Jones. Next is Landry Kenyon. Haley Manning. Next is Sadie Sprayberry. Mia Tully. Laurel Vinch. Isabel Woodcock. And now on to the coaches, Alyssa Crosby. John Arquette. Katina Dillon. And Chet Truskowski. Congratulations, and now I think we'll take a short recess to have refreshments out in the lobby. We would like to have the opportunity, if the raindrops hold off, to get a picture with legislators and the team and coaches before you depart. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, now I'd like to move on to communications. Do you have any communications?
A resolution was received from Cattaraugus County, Bozeman Park, and the governor. Creating a appraisal of large-scale solar and wind project. Resolution was received from Franklin County and supporting author of the appropriation.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to citizen participation. Any citizen wanting to address the board is asked to stand at the microphone, state their name before beginning their talk. The citizen participation will be in the form of an oral address directed to the members of the board. This part of the agenda is not a time for audio, visual, PowerPoint presentations or performances, and the address will be limited to a time of 5 minutes. And first on the list is Rebecca Allen from Colton.
First of all, thank you for this opportunity to address the board. My name is Becky Allen. I live out at 29 Cave Road in South Colton. And I've been a member of this community. I moved from Michigan about 8 years ago and I've lived out there most of that time period. The reason I wanted to address you tonight is because I live in a pretty popular recreational kind of corridor out there. I myself fish and canoe and kayak and hike. And when I first moved out there, I was aware there was going to be a multi-use trail, which I was quite honestly excited about at the time. I understood that it would allow motorized vehicles, and that made sense to me. I thought it would make it more likely to be able to monitor and enforce the trail laws. What I've discovered since is I was naive, and what we had since the trail opened up is what I would call a Pandora's box of bad behavior, particularly in South Colton. I can't speak to other areas other than maybe the Tule Pond area. I'm an avid fly angler, and I'm in that area a lot, and the garbage has increased significantly. People driving off the trail, people driving into actually even down by some of the waterfalls. I don't know how they get there, but they somehow manage. And just high-speed traffic. In fact, where I live, I've almost been hit twice by ATVers. I've had them cross the center line. I've been passed when I myself was going 60 miles an hour. I've been passed as if I was standing still. I was not aware ATVs could go that fast. So each year I've waited for it to get better, and each year it gets worse. At first I thought it was basically a COVID response, but that seems not to be the case. And we've already had ATV traffic going up and down our road, which is not open to ATV traffic. I did call the sheriff's department on Saturday to report that. I was told that it was their understanding that it was a public access road. It is not. So it seems like there's some confusion with the folks who are charged with enforcing those laws as to where ATV can actually travel or not. I think that's shared confusion. I think it's shared confusion both with homeowners, but also with ATV riders themselves. I don't think it's clear what is a trail, what isn't a trail. Now, I will say it's clear for the folks who've been off-road. We have been in quiet coves in the Racket River system and had ATVers blast by in areas that I know they're prohibited from doing. So I did take a look at the DGEIS report back in 2011. And it looked like at the time there was intent to monitor the trail system. And I guess my first recommendation is for you to take that seriously and do that. Both from a perspective of being a multi-use trail. We have discovered, we ride bikes, we hike, that since the ATVs have been using trails that we formerly used, that they're simply not passable. Maybe some young 20-year-old on a mountain bike could get through that, but we can't. Even hiking is difficult. And of course, the speed of the ATVs, which my understanding is 25 miles per hour on the trails, which these are a lot of their blind curves and hills, and it's dangerous. So we no longer go on those trails. And let me add, I'm running out of time here. Let me add that there's good evidence that shows that where there's motorized trails, there's a displacement of hikers and other people who use those trails. And there's some growing body of evidence. There's also a really good report out from Minnesota Department of Tourism that shows that it's hikers, bikers, walkers, and to a lesser extent skiers that basically bring dollars into a local economy. It's not motorized vehicles. And the reason being is there's more walkers, hikers, bikers, and also that they tend to travel to those locations, whereas motorized vehicle users tend to be local. So when I hear the argument, this is good for local economy, maybe not. I will tell you, we no longer go to the local restaurant because it's so typically filled with ATV traffic. And we take our recreation dollars out of the area. So I'm going to recommend really quickly that you consider, I'm out of time.
Go ahead. Finish.
Okay. First of all, require homeowner or other membership on the Trail Advisory Committee so that there's broader representation. That the original plan gets shared with the community in terms of what's next on the multiple use trail. Produce a separate map of where ATVs are permissible. I look at that map right now and I have a hard time making sense of where people are supposed to be. And I'll tell you, snowmobilers do too, because they stop us. We live on a snowmobile trail and they stop us frequently asking us where they should go. And I'm not really sure. Enforce the laws. I mean, the laws are there. Please enforce that. And open up a citizen complaint line or some way that we can submit our concerns, because I will tell you, I'm not the only one. And then basically hold a moratorium right now on more trail development until you look at trail impact, both in terms of impact on endangered species, impact on other people using the trail, as well as invasives being spread by ATV and other off-road vehicles. And then please ask the trail committee or the trail groups to clean up, and not just on the trails, but on the roadways leading in and out. They're part of the trail. That's where I'm seeing the preponderance of garbage. And then better signage, where ATVs are allowed and when they're not allowed. Because again, I think sometimes it is just confusion about where people can actually ride the vehicles. So again, thank you for your time. I will, at a later date, share the study that I referenced with this group to take a look at it. And
Thank you for your concern. Next up, Maggie McKenna.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Maggie McKenna. I'm the director of the St. Lawrence County Arts Council. SLC Arts is a 501c3 nonprofit organization with a mission to enrich the vibrancy of the North Country community by cultivating arts appreciation and inspiring creative expression. We support all forms of artistic expression and advocate for the rights of all people to express themselves creatively. The organization started in 1972 as the Arts and Humanities Council of the St. Lawrence Valley, reincorporated in 1989 as the Tri-County Arts Council, and amended in 1999 to the St. Lawrence County Arts Council. Over our 50-year history, we have continued to strive to make the arts a pillar of our North Country community. Over the past few years, we have undergone strategic planning exercises and determined two guiding principles for our organization: advocate for the arts through our regional community, and enhance business structure and internal systems to ensure viability of our organization. In 2022, our board of directors also developed a value statement to help guide our mission, guide our decision-making as we grow this vital organization. Our values are community, integrity, inclusion, entrepreneurship, and exploration. SLC Arts is a chosen New York State Council on the Arts state and local partnership statewide community re-grant partner for St. Lawrence, Jefferson, and Lewiston counties, offering grants and consulting service support to artists and community organizers. In 2022, we distributed $84,000, and this year we will distribute $100,000 in state funds across 3 grant opportunities: individual artist projects, arts and education, and community arts programs, funding upwards of 30 artists and organizations each year. As a local arts agency, in 2022, we also distributed $100,000 in National Endowment for the Arts ARPA funding to support 13 local arts agencies. We are proud to be the chosen regional arts partner for both New York State and the federal government, and will continue to strive to bring state and federal funding to the North Country in this way. In an effort to enrich the lives of the people who live here while encouraging economic development and tourism, SLC Arts brings the arts to the community and supports entrepreneurs in the arts fields. Our multidisciplinary performance, literary, and visual arts programs attract people of all ages, backgrounds, and abilities, and bring our region together, attract new people to the area, and assist local artists working across all their arts disciplines. We develop programming to fill gaps in our community's resources. So last year, we developed the Teen Summer Arts Camp program in direct response to the Youth Bureau's teen survey that showed a high level of interest in arts programs from our county's young people. The Youth Bureau's Youth Development Program grant is meant to provide local organizations with the necessary funds to run programs for our community's young people. Last year, we received the first of 3 years of installments of the grant, and ran a successful 4-week program that brought in over 20 students ages 11 to 18 and included classes with local professionals in creative writing, graphic design, musical theater, and songwriting. We supplemented the grant by allocating the vast majority of staff time from our St. Lawrence University Public Interest Corps summer intern to manage the program throughout the 4 weeks, and she developed a set of plans to improve the program for this year. This summer, we plan to run a 6-week program with morning and afternoon sessions to include classes in video and digital media, graphic design, ceramics, drawing, starting a band 101, music improv, music confidence, songwriting, creative writing, poetry, theater design, and acting, 2 each week. We are supplementing the program again with staff and intern time, as well as through a private $1 million Creatives Rebuild New York grant we received last year that runs over 2 years, so that we could hire 6 local artists to support the growth of our organization and the needs of our community. This summer grant program will not be possible without the Youth Bureau's Youth Development Program $6,000 grant directly supporting the cost of this summer program. And if we do not receive the funding, we will have to cancel the program altogether. This teen program is one of many programs SLC Arts runs across the year, including but not limited to community classes, educational workshop series, professional development for artists, arts wellness workshops, musical concerts, literary readings, and our major festival, the North Country Arts Festival, which highlights arts resources and the community of artists of all disciplines running their small businesses across St. Lawrence County. We look forward to continuing to support the residents and visitors of St. Lawrence County through a wide variety of arts experiences, and thank the county legislature for supporting SLC Arts last year, along with other amazing organizations in providing critical programming to our community's youth. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to presentation of resolutions. Ms. Curran.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a resolution modifying the 2023 budget for the Sheriff's Office to accept the 2023 State Criminal Alien Assistance Program funding from the Bureau of Justice Department.
Is there a second? Mr. Burke. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, it's a roll call vote.
Forsythe,
Yes.
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 Denisha,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Paul. Jay. Kurt, Jeanette.
Aye.
Emily,
Yes.
Aye. 15 yes.
Motion passes. Ms. Curran,
I offer a resolution modifying the 2023 budget for the sheriff's office for the cost of the prescriptions for the MAT program.
and is there a second? By Mr. Jeanette. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, this is a roll call vote as well.
Forsythe,
Yes.
Lightfoot,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
Smithers,
Yes.
Denisha,
Yes.
No.
yes. Jeanette.
Aye.
Emily.
Yes.
Karen,
Aye.
Megan.
Aye.
13 yes, no.
Motion carried. Ms. Curran,
I offer a resolution modifying the 2023 budget for the sheriff's office for prescription costs at the correctional facility.
and is there a second? Second by Mr. Jeanette, Mr. Fay. Any discussion? Ms. Curran,
Let Joe go first.
Mr. Lightfoot.
Just a comment on this. And coupled with the last one, it's almost $1 million on another mandated program from the state of New York. When in God's name is this madness on the part of the state going to end? Thank you.
Point taken. Ms. Curran,
So I wanted to point out to the taxpayers so they understand how this works and why the county is paying for both of these costs of prescription. When someone is arrested and put into our county jail, the state promptly removes their Medicaid coverage. So it's no longer a state-driven payment system, which we also share a part in the cost of. They just simply flip all of the cost of taking care of that patient, no matter what it is that they need medically, directly to the county taxpayers.
thank you very much. Any more discussion? This too is a roll call vote.
Lightfoot,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Smithers,
Yes.
Denisha,
Yes.
Perkins,
No.
Paul. Yes.
Aye.
Ellie.
Yes.
Karen,
Aye.
Megan.
Aye.
Forsythe,
Yes. Next resolution, Ms. Curran.
This resolution is calling on Governor Hochul and the New York State lawmakers to reverse course and restore biomass as an important renewable energy to strengthen the economy and encourage land stewardship and responsible forestry practices.
Is there a second motion? By Mr. Reagan, Mr. Paul, Mr. Webster, Mr. Jeanette, Mr. Denisha, Mr. Perkins, Mr. Light. Any discussion? Mr. Hall,
Mr. Chair, I'd like to be added to correspondence.
certainly. Mr. Denisha,
Sure. I fortunately leave the ship authorities. However, I still can't, this was discussed, this legislation was first proposed. Yeah, it made no sense. And not so much from the employment aspect, I realize it's huge. We have one of the largest military installations on the eastern seaboard. Standalone. No connection to the. And for that reason alone. Can't see
Thank you, Mr. Denisha. Mr. Gregg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I echo Larry's remarks and just, want to point out what a travesty this is to damage St. Lawrence County and Jefferson County's economies at a time like this for no apparent reason. So many families in St. Lawrence County, loggers, truckers, landowners, sawmill operators, and others involved in the forest products industry are going to be harmed. Let's make no mistake about this. This is just another effort by people in New York City who do not really understand that our forests really are renewable resources and that trees really do grow back. And cutting off and saying that biomass is not a renewable energy source is just incomprehensible and is just the latest example of this war on affordable energy. That people in the state legislature now are fighting to ban the use of natural gas in buildings, in houses. They're saying that our stoves, our water heaters, our furnaces, that we need to replace them with appliances that have not always had a great track record in some of the extreme temperatures that we experience here in St. Lawrence County. I think it's important that we send a strong message to Albany that this war on regular people needs to stop, because that's really what it is. It's the average working person who's struggling to pay their energy bills, who's struggling to support themselves and their families. They're the ones who are being hurt by these nonsensical policies. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gregg. Ms. Kern.
So I would also wonder, are we really saving any money by doing this, right? Because we pay state taxes, we pay federal taxes, and all of that. So if New York State was subsidizing the production of energy through this particular renewable resource electricity plant, and the DOD or the Department of Defense was getting cheaper rates by doing that, are they getting those same cheap rates from Niagara Mohawk? Are they probably Niagara Mohawk or whoever's selling to them? So is the government now paying more on that end? I don't think the taxpayer has appreciated any savings in this, but maybe been put in peril by having maybe electricity that won't be there when we need it.
Mrs. Haggard.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Biomass burning power plants emit 150% of the CO2 that burning coal does. They emit 300 to 400% of the CO2.
Mr. Webster and Mr. Sharon.
The employees that are gonna be put out of businesses, out of work, and the businesses that are gonna be put out of work aside, taxpayers are gonna pay for this too. Because they pick the trees that come down in the roadsides and stuff in these villages and towns, and they pick them up, bring them down at no cost. Now, a lot of these small villages are worried about where they're gonna pile all this. Last week, I saw probably one of the biggest piles of brush I've ever seen in one of the small towns I went through. When I asked them why, they said because they don't have the area to stack it. They're not sure what they're gonna do with this point. taxpayers will pay for this too.
Mr. Sheridan.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to be added as co-sponsor.
Certainly.
The ongoing nonsense.
Any more discussion? No more discussion. All in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
Any opposed? Now, Ms. Kern.
I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a contract and modify the 2023 budget for the solid waste department for the purchase of comprehensive insurance policy.
And is there a second? Mr. Lightfoot? Perkins? Any discussion? Being no discussion, this is roll call
Sheridan,
Yes.
Smithers,
Yes.
Denisha,
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Paul.
Aye.
Fay,
Yes.
Haggard,
Yes.
Webster,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes.
Jeanette.
Aye.
Terminelli,
Yeah.
Curran,
Aye.
Reagan,
Aye.
Forsythe,
vote. Yes,
Lightfoot,
Yes.
15 yes.
motion passes. Next resolution, Mr. Hall.
Mr. Chair, resolution claiming May as Older Americans Month in the 2023 theme Aging Unbound.
And is there a second? Ms. Curran, Mr. Denisha, Mr. Perkins. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a site agreement with the Canton Housing Authority for usage of the kitchen facility by the Canton Nutrition Center at Riverside Drive Apartments.
And is there a second? Mr. Fay? Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a resolution modifying the 2023 budget for social services for office furnishings and computer equipment for the satellite office in Messina and offices in Canton.
And is there a second? By Ms. Curran and Mr. Jeanette. Any discussion on the resolution? Seeing no discussion, this is a roll call vote.
Smithers,
Yes.
Denisha,
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Paul.
Aye.
Fay,
Yes.
Haggard,
Yes.
Webster,
Aye.
Burke,
Yes.
Jeanette.
Aye.
Terminelli,
Yeah.
Curran.
Yeah.
Reagan,
Yes.
Forsythe,
Yes,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
15 yes.
motion carried. Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, I offer a resolution modifying the 2023 budget for social services for the Adult Protective Services Grant for the term of August 1, 2021 through May 31, 2023.
And is there a second? By Mr. Jeanette, Mr. Perkins, and Ms. Curran. Any discussion on the resolution? Seeing no discussion, this is a roll call vote.
Denisha.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Paul. Fay,
Yes.
Haggard,
Yes.
Webster. Burke, Jeanette.
Aye.
Terminelli,
Yeah.
Curran.
Yeah.
Forsythe,
Yes,
Lightfoot,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Smithers,
Yes.
15 yes.
motion carried. Mr. Hall.
Chair, I offer a resolution modifying the 2023 budget for social services for the Adult Protective Services Grant for the term of August 1, 2022 through September 30, 2024.
And is there a second? Mr. Fay? Mr. Jeanette? Is there any discussion? Oh, Ms. Curran as well? Seeing no discussion, this is a roll call vote as well.
Perkins.
Yes.
Paul.
Aye.
Fay,
Yes.
Haggard,
Yeah.
Webster. Burke,
Yes.
Jeanette.
Aye.
Terminelli,
Yeah.
Curran,
Yes.
Reagan,
Aye.
Forsythe,
Yes,
Lightfoot,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Smithers,
Yes.
Denisha,
Yes.
15 yes.
motion carried. Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I offer a resolution modifying the 2023 budget for social services for the New York State Rental Supplement Program.
And is there a second? Second by Mr. Jeanette. Any discussion? Mr. Denisha.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I know I mentioned this in the committee, and I just want to make sure it's brought up again. And it's the third whereas. Whereas the allocation is one-time funding. It's money that we're getting from the state, one time. And mark my words.
Okay. Any further discussion? This too is a roll call vote.
Paul. Fay. Hacker. Webster. Jeanette. Yes.
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 15 yes.
Motion carried. Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to offer a resolution authorizing the chair to sign memorandums of understanding with area treatment providers for the continuity of care for clients in opioid treatment programs.
Is there a second by Mr. Burke, Mr. Fay? Any discussion on the resolution? Mr. Hall.
Just a typographical ask of the title, that memorandums be changed to memoranda.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I offer a resolution modifying the 2023 budget for community services for funding received from New York State Office of Mental Health and Office of Addiction Services and Support to St. Lawrence County as pass-through funding to approved agencies. And I'd also like to make a motion to table this resolution to correct typographical errors and push it to our next full board meeting.
And would there be a second? Second by Mr. Jeanette and Ms. Curran. And what, table to the next board meeting?
Yes.
All in favor of the tabled resolution?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I offer a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a contract with Monarch Residential to provide lead hazard trainings to code enforcement officers.
And is there a second by Ms. Curran? Any discussion on the resolution? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I offer a resolution authorizing the chair to sign an immunization action plan grant contract with the New York State Department of Health.
And is there a second? By Mr. Perkins, Ms. Curran, Mr. Fay, and Mr. Sheridan. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. And Mr. Hall.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to offer a resolution authorizing the chair to sign the 2023 resource allocation plan signature date and sign contracts with various organizations for youth sports and education funding, and modifying the 2023 budget for the Youth Bureau.
And is there a second? By Ms. Curran, Mr. Jeanette, Mr. Lightfoot, and Mr. Perkins. Any discussion on the resolution? This is a roll call vote.
Fay. Hacker.
Yes.
Webster.
Aye.
Burke. Jeanette. Yes. Aye. Reagan.
Aye.
Forsythe.
Yes.
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 Chuck,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Paul, 15 yes.
Motion carried. Mr. Jeanette.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, offering a resolution authorizing the chair to sign an intermunicipal agreement with the Jefferson Lewis Hamilton Herkimer Oneida Board of Cooperative Educational Services for drug and alcohol testing services.
And is there a second by Mr. Burke and Ms. Curran? Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Mr. Jeanette.
Mr. Chair, offering a resolution modifying the 2023 budget for the Department of Highways for replacement of the Lacombe Road Bridge. Lacombe Road Bridge in the town of Norfolk, Bend 3311420.
And is there a second by Mr. Burke and Mr. Perkins? And Ms. Kern? Any discussion on the resolution? This is a roll call vote.
Haggard,
Yes.
Webster,
Yeah.
Burke,
Yes.
Jeanette,
Aye.
Terminelli. Yes. Curran.
Aye.
Reagan.
Aye.
Horsley,
Yes.
Lightfoot,
Yes.
Sheridan.
Yes.
Childers,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Carried. Mr. Jeanette.
Mr. Chair, I'm offering a resolution modifying the 2023 budget for the County Administrator's Office for the purchase of a dump trailer, the multi-use trail funds.
And is there a second by Mr. Perkins, Ms. Curran, Mr. Sheridan, Mr. Webster? Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, this is also a roll call.
Webster,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes.
Jeanette.
Aye.
Terminelli.
Yes.
Curran.
Aye.
Reagan. Horsley,
Yes.
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 Perkins.
Yes.
15 yes.
Carried. Mr. Jeanette.
Mr. Chair, resolution modifying the fiscal year 2022 WIOA budget, transfer formula funds from administration accounts to adult.
And is there a second by Ms. Curran, Mr. Perkins? Any discussion on the resolution? It's a roll call vote as well.
Burke. Jeanette.
Aye.
Terminelli.
Yes.
Curran.
Aye.
Reagan.
Aye.
Forsythe,
Yes.
Lightfoot,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Childers,
Yes.
Denisha,
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Paul.
Aye.
Bay,
Yes.
Haggard. Yes. Webster,
Aye.
15 yes.
Motion carried. Mr. Jeanette.
Sure, offering a resolution authorizing the chair to appropriate remaining American Rescue Plan Act funds for ballistic vests for probation officers in St. Lawrence County and modifying the 2023 budget for the probation department.
And is there a second? Second by Mr. Webster, Mr. Hall, Ms. Kern, Mr. Reagan. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, this is a roll call vote.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Kern,
I would like to be added as a co-sponsor, please.
certainly.
Jeanette.
Aye.
Terminelli.
Yes.
Curran.
Aye.
Reagan.
Aye.
Forsythe,
Yes.
Lightfoot,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Childers,
Yes.
Denisha,
Yes. Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
Webster. 15 yes.
Motion carried. Mr. Jeanette.
Mr. Chair, I'm offering resolution authorizing the chair to sign maintenance and software agreements with Pitney Bowes for a mailing machine and system and central printing and mail and modifying the 2023 budget for the county administrator's office.
And is there a second? Mr. Perkins, Ms. Kern. Any discussion on the resolution? This too is a roll call vote.
Terminelli.
Yes.
Curran.
Aye.
Reagan.
Aye.
Forsythe,
Yes.
Lightfoot,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Childers,
Yes.
Denisha,
Yes. Yes.
Webster. 15 yes.
Motion carried. Mr. Jeanette.
Mr. Chair, I'm offering a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a contract with the St. Lawrence County Bar Association for assigned council representation for 2023 to.
And is there a second by Ms. Curran and Mr. Lightfoot? Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Mr. Jeanette.
Mr. Chair, offering a resolution authorizing the county to receive additional administrative funding for the septic system replacement program and modifying the 2023 budget for the planning office.
And would there be a second by Ms. Curran and Mr. Perkins? Any discussion? I'd just like to ask the question, do we follow up on these? We sent out the resolution several months ago to our senators and assembly people just to see if there's been any movement to expand the boundaries. This is a roll call vote.
Curran. Aye. Reagan.
Yes.
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 Mr. Chair, a resolution for approval of payment in lieu of taxes created in relation to solar project on parcel 40.2/4-2-20.2022/1 located at 50 Cogswell Corners Road in the town of Madrid.
And is there a second by Ms. Curran? Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Mr. Perkins. Mr. Sheridan.
Chairman, I have a resolution authorizing filling of vacancies, and I move with Scott.
And is there a second by Mr. Burke and Mr. Hull? Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Ms. Curran.
Yes, I have a motion opposing the New York Housing Compact as it was proposed in the governor's proposed fiscal year 2024 executive budget.
And is there a second? Second by Mr. Hall and Mr. Jeanette. Any discussion? Mr. Denisian.
Unless I'm mistaken, this. Stripping from the.
I saw it and I believe you're correct. But I believe she also said that she was going to pursue it. I don't know. Ms. Curran,
I'm just going to answer.
Mr. Perkins? Good. Anyone else? All in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ms. Haggard. Ms. Terminelli.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer a resolution proclaiming the month of May 2023 as Mental Health Awareness Month in St. Lawrence County. I move for this.
And second by Mr. Burke, Ms. Curran, Mr. Hall, Mr. Perk. Any discussion? Mr. Hall.
Sure, I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Mr. Fay.
Authorize the chair to sign an agreement with the Canton Chamber of Commerce for the use of the parking lot at the county complex for the annual Dairy Festival Parade.
And is there a second by Mr. Lightfoot, Ms. Curran, and Mr. Perkins, and Mr. Denisha? Any discussion? Ms. Curran?
I'd like to be added as a sponsor, please. Thank you, Mr. Gray.
Certainly. Any further discussion? All in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Carried. County administrators. Ms. Swett.
Short update for you this evening. Wanted to just thank everyone for joining the staff and our partners for the official opening to the bus shelter at 6 Judson Street in front of the Harold B. Smith Building, which is our social services offices. A terrific success that began before the pandemic, which has been a long time coming, and certainly could not have been done without all of the partners included. So very grateful for the support of that partnership. We will have vacancy reviews scheduled for tomorrow. There are 12 vacancies to consider from 5 departments, with one of those being from Wheeler. Overall, just to give you an update briefly, overall our vacant positions from last month have decreased by about 0.5%. So we're looking at about 7.5% currently. I like to make sure you're informed of those types of numbers. We have 5 Mondays in this month of May, so we will be closed for the non-24/7 365 operations on May 29th for Memorial Day. Our CHSI Board of Directors met last week. We will meet again in the next quarter, June or July, keeping an opportunity to keep the board updated on who our partners in that building are, as well as in the activities that are going on. This coming month is the last month for the new legislator orientation. So following the conclusion of these orientations, we'll be posting videos from each department, which may long exceed 10 minutes. So they were to give you their elevator pitch, so to speak. And this will give you all the detail. If you had questions out of those discussions, or if in fact there are programs you didn't have the opportunity to ask about, those will be included. Next week at operations, we'll have the planning office as well as the Board of Elections presenting to you. Did just want to give you an update as some of the conversations around New York State budget. Bills are being introduced. We have yet to review those, but those are required to age for 3 days before we can have an official New York State budget in place. So we'll keep you posted, and certainly would ask that if you hear anything to share that along with us as well. And then lastly, I wanted to thank the Canton Fire Department. I advised all of you, but last Wednesday, April 26th, we had quite a bit of excitement here at the Court Street campus with some reports of fire, both or first in the old jail and followed up by the court. Certainly appreciate our concerned citizens on the Judson Street area, but certainly we're better safe than sorry to have the folks come. They went through both buildings to make sure there was no concerns. Big thanks to Canton Fire Department for their rapid response.
Thank you. Old and new business. Ms. Sager.
Old business,
Start with old business. Start with old business.
sounds good. We're into the 3rd week of letting the youth development grant program money languish without approving resolution. We need to know if they're being funded, these programs. We have 2 constituencies in this rest of organization, and whatever reason, and it hasn't been discussed, I'd like to move that the resolution be taken off the table.
I believe this has been tabled to services, Margaret.
But I can ask for it. And one parliamentarian, I would, because, yeah.
Actually addressed it at the last meeting. If you bring a motion to move from the table, an item that has been placed on the table, date specific, must do so on the immediately succeeding meeting, which a motion was made. That motion was then voted down, essentially acting as a motion to consider. If you do not secure the votes necessary to move it from the table early at that point, then it must continue to run the course and carry to the next tabling date, which happened to be the next service. That was part of the longer explanation that I provided at the last meeting, which also included that if it wasn't noticed as part of the agenda, that you could theoretically during the course of that meeting vote to take it off the table, but it had to be placed on this agenda, had been noticed during that meeting, that it could have been put in.
Thank you.
Any more old business?
So I just wanted to add that now we're into 2 more weeks where these people know whether they're.
Thank you, Margaret. Any more old business? Any new business? Do we have a need for executive, committee reports? I'm sorry. Is there any committee reports? We have a need for executive session.
We do for purposes of litigation, negotiations, personnel, which include the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation, and the appointment.
Do I have a motion to go into executive session by Mr. Perkins, seconded by Mr. Jeanette, Mr. Smithers, and Ms. Curran? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So I'd like to move on to appointments, Ms. Curran.
For the St. Lawrence County, their housing task force meeting is held. Reappointments to the Environmental Management Council. Luke Hans from Cena, Brian Washburn from Canton, Fire Advisory Board, Adrian Bush, from Norfolk, Robert Crowe from Canton, Dirk Howie from Hammond.
And is there a second? Second by Mr. Jeanette, Mr. Fay, Mr. Sheridan. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Mr. Hull.
Mr. Chair, for the local early intervention coordinating council, term to expire 8/31/2025, and Maria Drake of Potsdam.
And is there a second? Second by Mr. Jeanette, Mr. Fay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Finance, Mr. Jeanette.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For appointments, I have Recreational Trails Advisory Board, Ron Bush from Lisbon. And Workforce Development Board, Christopher Coffey from Potsdam. And for my reappointments, for the Workforce Development Board, Dallas Sutton from Augsburg.
And is there a second? By Mr. Burke. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Chair's appointment. I want to start a newly formed committee to discuss remote work, and that will consist of John Burke as chair, Joe Lightfoot, and Ben Hall. They will meet with the unions and management and look into the option. And I would like to reinstate the Family Court Judge Committee chaired by Ms. Terminelli, Mr. Perkins, Mr. Reagan, and Mr. Smithers. Any other business?
Move to adjourn.
Moved by Mr. Fay, second Mr. Reagan, Ms. Curran, all in favor?
Aye.
Good night.